Okay, so here are some examples of graphing lines in standard form. If we have it in standard form, remember that's in the form of AX plus BY equals C. In this case, A is 4, B is negative 3, and C is 12. So when we have it in this form, they're very easy to graph. All we need is 2 points, and what we can do is we can use what we call the X and Y intercepts. And when X is 0, that's the Y-intercept, and when Y is 0, that's the X-intercept. So we just take our table of values, which we have drawn on these little charts already. We put 0 in for X and find out what Y is, and put 0 in for Y and find out what X is. Now this is real easy because if I put 0 in for X over here, all right, then 4 times 0 is 0, so 4 times X just drops out because that's 0, and we have this simple little equation. Negative 3y equals 12. If we want to solve that for y, we just divide both sides by negative 3, and y equals negative 4, because negative 3 goes into 12 negative 4 times. So that's just negative 4. And then when y is 0, I can just cover up the y, because negative 3 times 0 is 0. And I just have this simple equation. 4x equals 12. If I divide both sides by 4x equals 3, so those are my 2 points. That's all there is to it. So I'll put my 2 points down, so I've got the point 0, negative 4, so that's the y-intercept when x is 0, and x is 0 and y is negative 4, so that's right down here. They're going to be on the lines. And then the point 3, 0, I go out 3 units, 0 up. And you can see this is the x-intercept, where the line crosses the x-axis of the x-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis is the y-intercept. And then we just connect those with a line. So we get out our straight edge. Make sure it goes through 2 points. Try to line it up. Draw a nice straight line, and remember, put arrows at both ends because lines go on infinitely forever in both directions. All right. So there you go. Make sure you can see the arrows. I should probably use ink here so we can see what's going on. Okay. So let's try another one. And over here we have 2x plus 3y equals 6. So again, I'll just label my table of values, x and y, and I'll find when x is 0 and when y is 0. And when x is 0, all we have to do is cover up 2 times x is 0, so we just have 3y equals 6. That's a simple little equation to solve. Divide both sides by 3 and y equals 2. Then when y is 0, I just divide both sides by 2, and x is 3. So there's your points. So one point is 0, 2. When x is 0, y is 2. So that's the y-intercept. When x is 3, y is 0. That's the x-intercept. So those are your 2 points. Let's get your straight edge. Connect those with a nice straight line. Put an arrow at both ends to indicate that it's going to go on and on forever in both directions, and there you go. Over here is another one. 3x minus y equals 6, so xy, 0 and 0. So when x is 0, we just cover that up. 3 times 0 is 0, so I got negative y equals 6. So if negative y equals 6, positive y equals negative 6. You can just multiply both sides by negative 1 or divide both sides by negative 1. Or just say if negative y equals 6, positive y equals negative 6. And then when y is 0, 3x equals 6. So divide both sides by 3 and x equals 2. So those are your points. Now the nice thing about these videos is you can always pause them, go back and double check these, or try these equations on your own and see if you can get the same thing. That would be a good way to practice. Is look at this, then try to graph it, and then watch the rest. Okay? All right, so we put our points down, and we have the point 0, -6. So when x is 0, that means my horizontal goes 0, and I go just down to -6. And then when x is 2, y is 0, and those are my two intercepts. This is the x-intercept, where the line crosses the x-axis. This is the y-intercept, where the line crosses the y-axis. We have those 2 points. Get out our straight edge. Should we connect those? Like this. Make your line nice and straight with an arrow at both ends, and there you go. Okay, and one more. 2x plus y equals 5. So again, I label my table values x and y. Put my 0 here and 0 there. And when x is 0, y is, well, this isn't too bad, y is 5, right? When x is 0, we just have y equals 5. And then when y is 0, we've got 2x equals 5. So this doesn't work out evenly, does it? So 2x equals 5. So if I divide both sides by 2, x equals 5 halves. And 5 halves is the same thing as 2.5, or 2.5. Well, let's write 2.5 or 2.5. You could either write 2.5 or 2.5. Either way would be fine. So we have to plot that point. Now you can do fractions and it'll still work. You just have to be real careful. So when x is 0, y is 5. So this is going to be up here. That's my y-intercept. And then when y is 0, x is 2.5. Means y is 0. So I'm going to make this right in the middle. I'm going to use a little thinner little dot there because I want to make sure I get right in the middle. And that should be right between 2 and 3. And there we go. So there's your 2.5. I don't know if you can see that, but I used a little dot because I wanted to make sure that I got right in the middle there. So there we go. So that's right in the middle between 2 and 3. So when I connect my 2 points, I want to make sure that that's the one that's right in the middle. Right there. And up there. So you can do fractions. And a half is pretty accurate with a grid this small. If you had a bigger grid, you could do better fractions. You could estimate better. So there you go. So that'd be pretty good for 2.5. Okay, so those are 4 pretty decent examples of how to graph using the standard form equation to come up with your zeros or your x and y intercepts.